Our guest today is a vocalist, guitarist, songwriter, and producer for Evergrey, and they are ready to release their new album. Let's talk about art, visuals, and more with Tom Englund. Hey Tom, it's a pleasure having you here.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Before talking about the upcoming album, at the end of last year, the compilation From Dark Discoveries to Heartless Portraits was released to celebrate the 13th anniversary of the band. After reaching this landmark, has there been a moment of reflection about the band's meaning to you over the last 3 decades?
I mean, during the compilation of all those tracks, and we also released a book like 80 pages with pictures and stories and yeah, whatnot. Then yeah, it's sort of we had some reflection, and I haven't had time to go through it yet, but I will take my time and a good glass of whiskey someday and see if I still remember any of it. No, but I mean, it was like a lovely walk down memory lane, but at the same time, we're so, when you're in the midst of releasing a new album, you're so forward thinking that you don't want to, and I've always been like that, so I never stopped and looked at all these special boxes that I have lying around in here. Here's one, they're everywhere, but I want to do that when I get older, I guess.
Yes. Theories of Emptiness is the band's 14th album, once again a co-production alongside drummer Jonas Renkse. I imagine that when you remember each previous album, special moments of composition and studio work come to mind. So what are the memories that you will always remember about making this new record?
So one of them, of course, I mean, first and foremost, that Johan wrote, the bass player wrote most of the foundations for what became songs for this album. It's me and Jonas' job to produce it and make it into Evergrey songs. But from last album, we gave Johan a music computer, and he started, flourishing with writing ideas. So when went into this writing period, which was like 13 months ago, he had like 50 ideas. So for me and Jonas to just take them and start creating Evergrey songs from them was a big relief, to not have to feel that everything would be coming from us, so and then Rickard wrote the piece for a part of the song for one of the songs as well. So it was like a great way to start a new era, in a sense, it felt like in my head. And we also switched mixing guy from Jacob Hansen to Nolly and or Adam Getgood, and yeah, so it was like, felt very easy. It felt like it came, we wrote, we recorded it, then we started doing other stuff, and now we're here sort of celebrating the release of it soon. But yeah, it was an easy album for us to make, and maybe that's one of the key elements of a great album, is to not feel forced, but to feel free in your creativeness. We felt free before also, but it also wasn't so always tied with in between tours, or the usual stuff that everybody else goes through, like families and having to cope with all of those things. But this time everything was so balanced, and yeah, it's an album I think I will remember for its comfort in a sense, which is usually a word that I don't want to have connected with my music at all. I want it to be a bit awkward to write, because then it makes me uncomfortable, and then I know I will have to work my ass off to make something good. So
Yeah, that itchiness that makes you evolve.
yeah, exactly.
In terms of guests in One Heart, we have choirs made by fans who sent their audios, and I imagine it was a lot of work to synchronize everything. While in Cold Dreams, we have the iconic vocalist Jonas from Catatonia, but also the returning of your daughter Salina doing backing vocals, returning after 8 years since her last participation. What was it like working with these three different links: family, fans, and friends?
I mean, we love to do these fan participation things. I think it's something that is today, when everything is so good technically, you can actually record I mean, I pretty much could record an album vocally on my iPhone, basically, because it sounds so good to start with. So you don't need all of these fancy equipment that I have over here, that costs so much money. It's ridiculous, right? I mean, a phone is expensive today too, but yeah, whatever. So having the chance to do that once again with the fans is something that they will cherish for the rest of their lives. We also had people flying into Gothenburg and Stockholm to hang with us in our studio, and you know, people came from Colombia and from America to hang with us for 3 hours. It's crazy, right? So that makes you think, makes you value your position in the world in a sense. So, and with Salina, yeah, I didn't know it was that long. Maybe it's time for her to have a real track next album or something. But her participation in the midst of these two old, depressed, grumpy guys, as me and Jonas are in Cold Dreams, we needed some angelic vibes to sort of smoothen out the darkness, I guess. So, no, and Jonas is me and Jonas didn't know each other before last October. So, and now we become really good friends, which is cool. He was just here last week, and we drank so much wine we had to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. So, yeah, that's all. That old rock star. You know, we don't do drugs. That's why. So it's, you know, we can't stay up all night. We get drunk and then we go to bed.
Nice, and I think the fans will enjoy because at the same time it sounds a bit like the old stuff from Catatonia. So it was a really nice kind of
Yeah, and I didn't know it was that long since he growled either. I just told him, and here you should growl, and here you should sing, and he didn't oppose to it. So I was like, and we just came from doing these Aryan shows together in Holland, you know. And he growled there too. So I think that was in my mind that he was still growling, and then so I didn't question, and he didn't question me for asking either. So that was cool of him. Yeah.
In the band's discography, both the album covers and the tour merch has always had a very beautiful, strong and melancholic visual identity. The last works were illustrated by the artist Yannis Nakos, but this new work surprised by bringing a more intimate and introspective art. Even the promotional photo is a bit different from the band's usual approach. What was the process like to find a look that represents this album?
I think first and foremost, what really triggered the artwork, simplicity in a sense, which is also the wrong word, because the simple, more minimalistic way is often the most difficult thing to get through, you know. But what triggered it was that I was looking at my phone and trying to see what album covers people had, looking in Spotify, for instance. And I was like, I don't see fucking anything. Looking at this, like, you look at this, right? I said, I don't see anything. What is that? I looked at our own covers. I was like, that doesn't matter. But now, look, now I see this head here. It's super obvious. That was what I was after. I had like the dark side of the moon in my mind, the simplicity of that. And then, of course, adding elements to it that made the audience either hate it, like a few did, maybe 30% did, 70% really embraced the change. But then also, we have never ever had so much discussions about a cover ever, which was great because, you know, it intrigued people. I mean, we revealed this cover like one piece at a time on our Facebook, and every other day we had a new piece getting taken away from the cover, and people were pissed off as fuck and screaming and yelling, and a lot of them, of course, always the people who don't feel so aggravated, they don't yell at all. They just say, yeah, this is great, you know. So yeah, and the idea behind the cover at all, I mean, like visually, is this constellation in the head is the Chinese constellation for emptiness. So it's a big thought behind it, but a simplistic piece of work when you look at it at the first look, which is exactly what I was after. The record label hated it. They wanted us to change it, and we said, fuck you, we're not. No, we didn't say fuck you, but we said, like, dude, this is our vision, and gladly enough, we didn't give away any artistic freedom to any record label or any agents or any management for the last 31 years, and I don't think we will start now. So yeah, and we're talking about it now. See, it's nice.
Yes. I was very surprised, and I loved all the merchandise released so far. It's very beautiful.
I think it looks great, I think.
Yes.
And you know, and having all these beautiful, more oil painting kind of covers is great when you feel that is what you want, you know. But when you don't feel that, why should I do it, you know? Then it's like repainting a room in a color that you don't want. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep here now for 10 years, you know. It's like, doesn't make any sense. And Giannis himself really liked it, you know. So it's but people think that, okay, you're enemies now, and you don't talk to each other. And dude, same with Jacob Hansen, switching from Jacob to Nolly. It's about creating emotion. We need to move, you know, forward.
Yes, great, sir.
It's not because we didn't like anything. We love these guys. They are our
Yeah,
friends for life, you know. So
of course. And another very important visual aspect in the band's history is a partnership in the music videos. Since 2004, Touch of Blessing, you have been working with director Patrick Uleus, who produces the band's videos. How do you feel this connection to him has helped give Evergrey's music a visual form?
I mean, he was one of the first. When we did the first video, he told me first time I met him, he said, "I don't bring out the camera for anything less than 50,000 euros." And I said, "Okay, goodbye," and I left. And then he came back to me like a couple of weeks later, actually. So I thought that ship had sailed, you know. But then I guess he was looking at what we have been doing, and we were, you know, coming from the same suburb in Gothenburg, and we had the sort of same mentality, and then he was able to bring out like the words in my head, my visions that I had within me, and put them to film, and he still does that. So I don't know how many videos we have made together, but it's at least 2 per album, I think, and for many of them 3 per album. So it's like there are a lot of videos. We should release like a compilation of videos only. You know, it's crazy.
Since the last album, I have noticed some more hopeful lyrics, and this new record goes the same way, within the band's characteristic melancholy. Your son was born a couple of years ago, and having a baby around always bring back some innocence into our lives. Do you feel that this daily contact with a kid has impacted the way you make art lately?
I guess unconsciously and inevitably it would. And I think also like the evolvement of and becoming something else, and you know, finding your position in life and stuff like this that you do with age and with experience, and I guess with if you're lucky, with finding yourself also makes a huge difference in terms of how you see the world and how you would write. And since I always written about stuff that I've experienced myself in a sense, then that makes perfect sense to get reflected in the new music as well. I mean, all of the songs are about emptiness, right? So it's about different perspectives of emptiness, be it losing a father to cancer, or a life partner, or not feeling that you belong in this world. You know, it's also an emptiness, right? But it can also be an emptiness of fulfillment and achievement and finding yourself, and not desiring to leave the room to find yourself, or needing to stress away to find purpose in life. And I guess that's where I am more today. But of course, everything that you've been through life also will also be with you in some way or some capacity, you know. And so yeah, it's 10 songs about emptiness, but from different perspectives.
Over the years, I have watched many live videos. I also went to a show on the Heartless Portrait tour, and something that always grabbed my attention is the happiness the band transmits to each other on stage, generally having fun. How do you see the camaraderie on this lineup?
I mean, we've been with each other for so many years now. It's like, for good and for bad, it's like traveling with your family, you know. It's like we are family, and we know everything about each other, and we have, you know, and most of us have also brought up our kids with each other, and this is what we do. And when things get tough, it really helps to be a unity that have been through this for a couple of decades, you know. It's like and I mean, we've been here so long now that it's even amazing to me that we are in a sense that because we're not a huge band, we're still a band that grows, which is insane to me. You know, it's every album we get a little bit bigger, and like for the last album we stepped up a few notches on that career ladder, if you will. So it's something that we're very proud of, and also that still gives us the urge to keep on trying. We're still believing in world domination. We still believe that we will be bigger than Iron Maiden and Metallica. You know, we have to. This is why we do that. You know, that's why we want to go to work and bring out the best we can every day. We're not content. We're not full. We're hungry as fuck. You know.
Parallel to Evergrey, you have also been working and releasing albums in 2 other projects: Redemption, an American prog metal band, and the duo Silent Skies, making intimate dark pop. Both bands are alongside your friend Vikram Shankar. How refreshing has it been to work with different artists?
It's so rewarding. It's like, you know, my musical world is branching out. It's I also have a I've also done 3 albums with a band called Duvorian, which is just me and a guy called Adam from England, and we just make music because I help him produce it and I sing on it, you know, and it's a lovely collaboration that I appreciate really a lot. So, but I do with all the music I do. I just finished a guest vocal thing here for somebody in France, you know, so I try to do as much as I can. I am tired now, I must admit, but you know, because when I write vocals only for Redemption, that feeds into thinking just in vocal style for both Evergrey, Dovorian, and Redemption and Silent Skies. And when I write Silent Skies music, it's a different part of the brain that gets activated. And I guess first and foremost, we also write, me and Vikram, we write music for video games. So when we do that, we get told what to do. I mean, right now we're doing a game called Jurassic Park, which is probably the biggest thing you can do, right? So it's like, then you have to just adjust and do what people tell you, you know, which is also a very nice shift. As whereas I usually tell people, we do this, we do this, we do this. Now somebody tells me, okay, I mean, maybe not for Jurassic Park game, more for like the Warhammer games or whatever, Dakar Rally, whatever we did. It's a lot of guitars, you know, and I play guitar not in the same way that I would play for Evergrey, but now that it started to influence the new album, you know, like a lot, like the genty stuff in the song Say, for instance. It's not because we listen to Tesseract or Periphery or any of these bands, or because Adam came in. It's because we wrote a lot of that stuff for the video games. So all of these things feed into each other and give each other more energy, new life, and you know, in comparison to have one thing that you do all the time, getting pressed and feeling the urge to write different stuff that doesn't fit within the, you know, boundaries of the band or whatever. And also we're lucky to be in a band like Evergrey that pretty much can get everything within the frame of Evergrey, or we shape it in a way that it sounds like Evergrey in the end anyway. A lot of Johan's ideas for this album didn't sound like Evergrey. It's us that decided what we could make Evergrey songs about. He didn't even want to play it for us, the ideas. And no, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. I was like, fucking play everything. And when he played 50 ideas, I told him in the, like 2 weeks after I had listened to them for a long while, I said, okay, so you don't have anything else now? And he said, well, I have a few more things, but I don't want to play them, he said. And then he had 35 more ideas. And those ideas became 3 songs.
Wow.
The Night Within,
My favorite.
The chorus for Falling from the Sun, and something else, yeah.
Evergrey's new album Theories of Emptiness comes out on June 7th via Napalm Records. My favorite song at the moment is the already mentioned The Night Within, and I hope the fans will enjoy the full album. If you want to know more about upcoming live dates, news, and more, search for Evergrey Official on all social networks. Tom, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed this interview. Would you like to leave a final message?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Look out, we're bringing out 80 new shows coming to you this year, so we will be busy.